Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this week's Tip Tuesday. I am Attorney Davis. I am the managing attorney here at Davis Legal Center. So I made a post that I really wanted to kind of rethink the way that our criminal courts address juvenile matters. And so in furthering those efforts, I wanted to address some of the common misconceptions that I feel like the general public has about juvenile criminal cases. So I feel like the main misconception that the general public has about the juvenile criminal justice system is that if a child chooses to go to trial in criminal court with juvenile cases, that trial is had by what we call and within the legal community is a bench trial. So in other words, a child does not have a right to a jury trial. And for many attorneys, we oftentimes strategize in regular criminal cases whether or not we want to do a bench trial or a jury trial. During a bench trial, the judge is the finder of fact, or in other words, the judge will not only be making a decision in regards to the child's guilt or innocence, but will also be the sentencing judge. So that's the first common misconception. Although the juvenile cases, criminal cases, tend to mimic that of the adult court system, that is probably the biggest change, especially if a child wants to exercise his or her right to trial. The second most common misconception about juvenile criminal cases is that many people feel like, even children that I represent, their main sentiment is, this is just a juvenile criminal case, it won't affect me in my adulthood. And I really cringe when I hear things like that. That is probably the biggest misconception. Juvenile criminal cases can absolutely affect a child while the child is still a minor, as well as carry over into their adulthood. It could affect such things as whether or not the child has an opportunity or an opportunity to higher education, to serving in our military, any branch, whether or not the child can exercise their fundamental right to bear arms, or in other words, legally be in possession of a gun, and also it could affect a child's obtaining a driver's license by a certain age. And the last most important thing is too, here in the state of Florida, there are certain juvenile cases or convictions, in other words, certain juvenile convictions, criminal convictions, that absolutely will follow the child into adult criminal court should the child be rearrested. So those are the biggest common misconceptions I feel like that the general public has about juvenile criminal cases. If you or a loved one have a child that is involved in the criminal justice system, absolutely understand that we handle those cases. I really want to further our firm's mission in helping our children. So if you're in that situation, feel free to reach out to us for a consultation. Thank you, everybody, and have a wonderful week.